Chapter 1 The Cosmic Party. I am Satya, keeper of the library on Alcyone, the central star of the Pleiades. I am here to help you decode the central intelligence of your planet, to prepare you for the cosmic party that begins on winter solstice, December 21st, 2012. I will activate my Pleiadian cellular memory as you activate your own cellular memory banks. I am here to experience the memories of your origins with you. Coded holograms in your bodies, galactic morphogenetic fields easily visible to me right now, have been hidden from your eyes because light precipitation from higher dimensions has been almost totally blocked by a great net over your realm. This light precipitation brings information from all dimensions in the universe. We Pleiadians observe this net, consisting of juicy archetypal forces, as it was being thrown around your planet at 0 point, the exact moment between 1 BC and 1 AD. This was the time when Christ came to Earth, so discovering the real story of what happened at 0 point will be your access to the multidimensional consciousness of Christ. Now this net is binding you tighter and tighter, and many of you have decided to penetrate its empty spaces and explode it open. I, Satya, want you to realize that you have drawn the Pleiadians to your planet by your desire for more light, which is intelligence. We Pleiadians have responded to your signals by participating in your evolution during the last 26,000 years. This has been possible because your sun is actually the 8th star of a spiral sourced from Alcyone of the Pleiades. Now the time has arrived for you to remember your stellar identity. The great cow gods and goddesses have been preparing you to swim through the spaces within the interlocking strings of the net. You are to be like illuminated fish swimming out of the Age of Pisces into galactic synchronization with all the other stars of the Pleiades. The time since 0 point will be transformed into a gossamer web of photonic light that will open your inmost heart to the exquisite liquid essence of the Pleiadian love vibration. I am here to help you recall your Pleiadian heritage and to open the Alcyone library to reveal the massive record banks of your own stellar intelligence. Every 26,000 years, your solar system moves into the Photon Band as the Earth precesses into Aquarius. This is when I always return. I am the knowledge of the library, and if you find yourselves resisting me, this is simply the net confusing you, anesthesizing you. You are ready to graduate from a history of fear into a future of love. And if you want your diplomas, you must now stretch your minds right out of your skulls. In the Pleiades, Earth's Age of Aquarius is known to be the age of light of Gaia, the time when the 3rd star out of the Alcyone spiral, Maya, along with the 8th star, your sun, move into the Photon Band together. In your legends, this is the story of the return of the twin. Alcyone always remains in the Photon Band because it is the progenitor of one of many Milky Way stellar spirals. Van Gogh, one of many incarnated Pleiadians during this grand cycle, was imprisoned because he painted stars as spirals. As a Pleiadian, he was naturally free and creative, yet he felt totally trapped in linear space and time, and this terrified him. Now your scientists are seeing that some stars do form spirals of light in empty space. Van Gogh could actually see this spiral form of stars, which is a faculty of multidimensional sight. It's time for Van Gogh and all the great artists who have excited you by enabling you to see beyond your realm to be freed from prison. Yes, a renaissance is happening on Earth once again. If you doubt this, observe the children of Earth. Study Van Gogh's star paintings, for they will help you see how your own sun is actually part of the Pleiades. Alcyone always basks in the Photon Band, which emanates from the galactic center. Its constant location in the band activates its spiral light. Now is the time of the sacred twinning, when Maya and the sun move into that band, impelled by the writhing stellar light of the Alcyone spiral. Imagine the galactic center itself as a spinning gravitational nucleus, and see Alcyone and many other stars existing in beautiful galactic beams of light, photon bands. To be simple about these concepts for now, this is the time when the Maya return to Earth and catalyze Earth's intelligence for the whole Milky Way galaxy. You already know something is coming because it is all recorded in the Mayan Great Calendar, which is also 26,000 years long, just like the precession cycle and the orbit of your solar system around Alcyone. Maya researcher Linda Shell discovered in 1992 that the, quote, crocodile tree, end quote, an ancient creation symbol of the Maya in their sacred book, the Popol Vuh, is the crossing point of the ecliptic with the band of the Milky Way. Then Maya researcher John Major Jenkins discovered that there will be an extremely close conjunction of the winter solstice sun with that crossing point on December 21, 2012, the end of the Mayan calendar. This conjunction has been approaching for thousands and thousands of years. Now many researchers are realizing the whole calendar is based on star maps. According to Jenkins, the fall equinox sun conjoined the sacred tree around 4400 BC, when Earth precessed into the Age of Taurus, the previous, quote, fixed age, end quote. The ages of Taurus, Bull, Leo, Lion, Scorpio, Scorpion, and Aquarius, Man, are the fixed ages, and these are the ages when new agendas are set in place to then work out for 6,400 years. The ellipse on the cover of this book with the symbols for the 4 fixed ages shows these times in relationship to the photon band, and the sun is visible on the ellipse, ready to move into Aquarius. I, Satya, am bringing this book in through my vehicle, who is an astrologer, because it is incredible that the ancient Maya invented a calendar that ends with this winter solstice sun conjunction. The synchronicities between the precession cycle, the Mayan calendar, and the Alcyone spiral are mind-boggling. Furthermore, according to our libraries, Maya, third star of my spiral, moves into the photon band with your solar system when Earth enters the Age of Aquarius. Obviously, these dates really mean something. For example, how in the face of 500 years of genocide could the Maya daykeepers of Guatemala still be keeping the daily calendars of the last great cycle, which began in 3114 BC, unless they knew about this star map? These daykeepers have not lost the day count in 5,000 years. Why is this so important to them? I can tell you because your sun and Maya are part of my system. At the end of the Mayan calendar in 2012 AD, Alcyone, Maya, and your solar system all merge in the photon band, and this will synchronize you with the galactic center. Then the cosmic party begins. Everybody who is in body on Earth is hereby invited. Invitations to the cosmic party. I will be frank with you. It will not be easy to get into this party. As with any culminating social experience, you must make it your goal. You will have to prepare yourself for it, and you must begin by figuring out all the steps to this goal through the end of time. To accomplish that, you must have a model. To have a model for what will happen from now until December 21st, 2012, you must gradually integrate the astrology of stellar orbits and cycles. The astrologers and Maya researchers will continue to keep you updated about key times. There is no need to become a daykeeper or astrologer yourself. Just meditate during solstices, equinoxes, and new and full moons. My beloved Maya colleagues, who are all astrologer daykeepers as we Pleiadians are, have always told my vehicle, Barbara Hand Clow, that you humans are lazy. After teaching you for 10 years, she has shown us that cycles, orbits, and star patterns are very difficult for you. However, attuning to these cyclical patterns is very exciting and creative, and it tends to activate your cosmic self. Astrology is simply the, quote, logic of the stars, end quote, and it is also cosmic Pleiadian and Maya science for recovering the story of your origins. Linda Shell comments about the Popol Vuh. The gods wrote all these actions in the sky so that every human, commoner, and king alike could read them and affirm the truth of the myth. Throughout the Pleiadian Agenda, I will describe cosmic models in detail, as well as diagram them for you. For now, it is enough just to realize that when your solar system moves into the Photon Band as Earth processes into Aquarius at the end of the Mayan Great Calendar, the biology of Earth awakens and goes through a new stage of evolution triggered by our Pleiadian love vibration. This cycle began around 24,000 BC when you became Homo sapiens, and wasn't that a great job of triggering you? Have you seen the exquisite wonder of Paleolithic cave art? Have you seen how awesome animals were in the eyes of our ancient ancestors? Now, after 20,000 years, you have become self-reflective, and we are here as you remember us, existing deep in your cellular memory. We are in your blood. Our light pulses your heartbeats. You need no pacemakers. In this supernal dawning of the Age of Aquarius, I, Satya, have returned to collect the galactic intelligence you gathered while your solar system journeyed through the galactic night since 8800 BC. I am here to receive these gifts of your knowledge in exchange for your information. If you will just follow your own fascinations, together we will penetrate this constricting net until you are finally free. Think of this last cycle for a moment. Would any of you like to go back to being cave people? No. And now you have grown very tired of being stuck in the net. Last time around, you got sick of gnawing raw leg bones in cold caves. And this time you're sick of McDonald's and, quote, "wopportunities," end quote. I will help each one of you remember how to swim in the stars while you also ply your own planetary waters. I am able because I have lived with you and listened well to you for a long time. This will be your choice, a choice to be made after you read my story. I will give you one guarantee as you begin. I will not bore you. We Pleiadians have noticed that you enjoy stories, and so in these pages you will encounter Lucifer, Enoch, Abraham, Anu, Mary Magdalene, Isaiah, Dr. Lizard and King Lizard, and even your moon and planets, as well as your sun and other stars. Since I would like as many of you as possible to be able to enjoy this grand tale, I have a few words for the skeptics. It is perfectly fine to think of this material as just an archetypical drama emerging out of what you call your collective unconsciousness. But once you could see Earth as a tiny blue dot in space, then you discovered you needed to explore the cosmic collective conscious, which is much vaster than your unconscious. The stage is now set for the drama in our library on Alcyone, where there is a temple with a circle of 9 white ionic columns surrounding a crystalline model of Earth. Your vitality is our heartbeat. And as you enter the Photon Band with Maya, an alliance has been forming between the Pleiadians and the Syrians, and this alliance is creating all kinds of new possibilities. From 1992 through 1994, my vehicle worked on this alliance in Egypt. In 1994, Syrian channel Wendy Munro of Australia worked with her in the Great Pyramid and many other temples in Egypt. The Syrians are assisting the Pleiadians to help you find ways to tear down the net that is enveloping your planet. The first stage occurred when Wendy and Barbara worked with the spirit crocodiles of Kom Obo, Egypt. You so easily judge these magnificent beings, calling them nasty lizards, yet you fail to look at your own slimy carnivorous selves. Lizards will be great activators of blocks in your consciousness that have formed the net, and reptilian forces will cause you to examine your own inner darkness. That is probably why the Mayas saw the star pattern where the Milky Way crosses the ecliptic as the, quote, crocodile tree, end quote. Speaking of the alliance between the Syrians and the Pleiadians, we Pleiadians are sisters to these great male intelligences of Sirius, and as is natural with the female vibration, we are the ones who begin the mating dance. I, Satya, was activated to this new level within my vehicle as she struck the opening chord between Alcyone and the central star of Sirius while deep within the Great Pyramid during a series of ceremonies. Thus began the mating dance of Sirius and the Pleiades. The Syrians are the designers of the Temple of Light, and I am a Pleiadian goddess who activates energy in that temple. Since you are always so well entertained by the tales of Earth's sacred prostitutes, you will not be bored. So, if astrology is too much for you, perhaps you are one of many who will be opened by means of sacred sex. Our library opened in your minds in 1992 as we recalibrated Earth with Sirius, the star that has been preparing you for this opening since August 1972. The electromagnetic field of Earth was so heightened in the summer of 1972 that many scientists reported later that they feared your planet might explode or undergo a polar shift. Sirius holds the 6D geometric light body of Earth in form. The ancient Egyptians came from Sirius to teach temple technology to you just so you could learn about sacred geometry. Just as the Maya time records are opening now, so is Syrian spatial knowledge, and I will tell you all about that opening. Gaia is opening her body like a lusty woman as the Syrians and Pleiadians choreograph the dance of Earth's indigenous peoples who still remember this ancient knowledge. This triggered a geomantic activation of planetary telluric powers, so your planet was very unstable in 1972. In August 1972, the Syrians generated a great stabilization beam out of the stellar computer below the Great Pyramid at Giza and directed it right into the sun. This caused a great healing spiral to shoot out of the sun, awaking solar initiates into remembering their Pleiadian origins. Who are these indigenous peoples? Forget all this arguing about, quote, who is an Indian, end quote, and notice that many indigenous peoples are sun worshippers who remember that they are part of the Pleiades. When I address you as, quote, people, end quote, or, quote, peoples, end quote, this is a sign of great respect because I only do that when I feel you are ready to remember your stellar source. I only address you that way when I feel in your vibration that you are really hearing me. Who are the Syrians? They are magnificent feline gods from Sirius who built the Great Pyramid and Sphinx to hold open the geometric portals of the stars while your solar system is traveling in the Photon Band. They first built the Great Pyramid in 10,800 BC and then rebuilt it in 2450 BC, casing it with white limestone and installing a Syrian seer staring out to Orion. This seer has held your Syrian cellular memories in the Earth records until you activated the planetary telluric field during harmonic convergence, a time of worldwide meditation in August 1987. The awakening of planetary sacred sites relinking your planet with the galactic center. You have been traveling in the galactic night since 8800 BC and playing out duality as you always have. Now the seeds sown by the light activation that began in 2450 BC, when the Great Pyramid was realigned to Orion, are beginning to flower. As you enter Aquarius, the women as daughters of Earth will be the first players on the stage as Pleiadian storytellers. This has already begun. We Pleiadians do not express ourselves via sexual gender, but we are the guardians of the goddess, and we have a very feminine vibration. As we speak of, quote, woman, end quote, we speak of Gaia in each one of you. Your male and female selves are both goddess and god, and as Earth has witnessed an overabundance of male energy, we Pleiadians are here to help all of you awaken the goddess within. During this most recent journey through the galactic night, you became highly self-reflective, and your brains are getting very activated. You've developed yourselves magnificently so that you would be ready to challenge forces that control your reality at the cosmic party. We Pleiadians like to refer to these forces as the World Management Team, first named through your channel, Barbara Marciniak. And as far as I, Satya, can ascertain, as I read your vibrations, these forces are directed on earth by the Anunnaki, the Nephilim of the Bible, which means in Hebrew, gods who came down to earth. These Anunnaki Nephilim are the ones who established the extensive and deeply ingrained management system, the net, at 0 point. For a gilded and engraved party invitation, you still have time to challenge your inner belief systems about these great gods. Nobody with residual, quote, God, end quote, poison gets an invitation to the cosmic party in 2012. To exercise these lords, you must integrate the stellar intelligence of Gaia. Gaia does not resonate with superior and separated white male gods. She quakes, belches, and vomits in response to their oppression. Once you have integrated Gaia by awakening your inner male and female, your next stage will be directed by beautiful male teachers who cherish earth women and who have integrated their next level of male intelligence, which is Syrian. The women are running the show right now because they can feel Gaia as she first reawakens. The men will truly feel her by 1998, when men and women will remember how to express the resonant vibration of Gaia sexually. As you will see later, the Syrians have decided to work out a new deal with the Anunnaki, and that new agenda will be based on the Anunnaki agreeing to lift the net. I have come to direct the forces in the cosmos who wish to speak to you now. Why me? I was selected by the Galactic Federation for fusion with my vehicle, who had been inhabiting Earth since the atom was split in December 1942. She was sucked by a planetary shudder into the fetus carried by her mother, making it possible for us to live in your midst, seeking to understand the nature of radioactivity and gold on your planet, and she is having a simultaneous life in the library on Alcyone. What I have discovered so far is that all your stories about stellar humans, such as Enoch, Anu, Christ, Isaiah, and Mary Magdalene, are cloaked in lies. These lies obsess you because you sense that these great beings came to Earth to show you the way to stellar access, but their true story is hidden from you. They came and deposited their codes in your vortexes, causing you to be fascinated by the traces of their stories. These memories are very juicy and alluring because they make information pathways in the galaxy. Now you are becoming obsessed with these great archetypal beings as the information pathways in the galaxy are getting opened and cleared. These stories exist in planetary vortexes connecting Earth's telluric fields with all dimensions, and pathways of galactic intelligence are responding to you as you pursue these records. Many beings from other realms visit these vortexes to study your stories because the vortexes are records of stellar intelligence, the galactic mind. The Anunnaki cannot eradicate these stories because such erasure would cause the Gaian vortexes to go out of form. These myths are Gaia's consciousness. Instead, hoping to distract you from the real truth in these stories, the Anunnaki distort these original records by laying down one layer after another of distorted information in the pathways. Now the Earth vortexes are clogged and very inaccessible to higher dimensions, and that is why they need clearing. Blood, the elixir, cannot flow through these clogged arteries leading into your hearts, and you cannot feel these multidimensional impulses. This is the tragedy of the net. These vortexes hold the experiences that contain all of your knowledge in the third dimension. If such primordial memory is totally blocked in linear space and time, even the Anunnaki could not play there anymore, for they would lose their own memory banks, like a person experiencing an aneurysm. Vortexes are whirlwinds that control forces utilized for setting agendas, but these vortexes also holds Gaia's identity, her memories of stories in time. If Gaia is too deadened by manipulation and control of her fields, her species will be erased from memory and time, and the Anunnaki can never again access these vortexes for playing in your dimension. This is why the indigenous people often forbade writing the stories down. Instead, the grandfathers and grandmothers memorized them and transmitted them orally to children. The original pathways out of the vortexes were spun out by Spider Grandmother in the beginning of time and then woven together. The vortexes were generated exactly where the pathways cross, and out of these crossings and lines, species were created. The storytellers told the stories of Spider Grandmother, and animals and plants were formed. We Pleiadians call this the web of life. Now the web has become the net that blocks travel by stellar intelligences in the pathways. The web has tightened and has almost closed due to the lies the Anunnaki layered over the original stories, especially since 0 Point. As the Anunnaki suck you to get Gaia's energy and plot to keep you under their thumbs, they twist the records of activations by great beings, thus keeping you away from Earth vortexes as much as possible. They are heavily invested in keeping you from discovering the real connective powers of sacred places, as well as the active powers of gold, uranium, crystals, and plants. Such powers can activate the Earth and awaken your deep memories, triggering connections with galactic intelligence. Power places have often been revealed to you by the unexpected appearance of illuminated beings. Often temples are built where great beings were seen, and many of you can genuinely feel this energy of place. The Anunnaki believe they own you. They've diverted you away from these power places, preventing the great beings from reaching you. Lately, even they are bored with their own limited games, and they are impulsed to seek these great beings. The dynamic is shifting fast because they know these power vortexes are their only access to these powers. Meanwhile, you have become so de-energized and bored by the diminishing energy that off-planet beings are losing access to you. The Anunnaki thought you would become robots they could control with their thought, but instead you are dying. They now realize you must re-energize yourselves. Like parents of teenagers who see that their children will become self-destructive if they don't just leave them alone, they see it as time to release their parental role. If you doubt this, notice how tired you are of being parents and being parented by the schools and government. We Pleiadians can see how bored you are by parenting because you are neglecting both your children and your society. I am here now to resurrect some juicy stories to reactivate your hunger for multidimensional access. The control forces can't keep you from figuring out your reality anymore. They have told so many lies that they can no longer remember the initial stories, and they fear annihilation if their original records are lost. We Pleiadians remember every story, however, and some of these stories even will expose our activities in your realm. People, you've become the fox chased by the gods in the fox hunt, and now I've come to expose the hunters in red coats on horseback. The great Syrian dog/cat, Anubis, has arrived to instruct the hunting dogs on how to get the fox to fly. I will warn you right now, these channeled versions of the stories about archetypal beings will make you angry. When you see how the Anunnaki have manipulated you, you will be furious, since you will feel like a fool. Please remember that the fool comes when the shift is prepared, so laugh at yourselves. Some of you will shred this book or throw it on the floor, but then you will pick it back up or run to the store for another copy. Why? Because in your deepest place of knowing, you will hear a truth that belongs to you in these pages. You are so bored you are thrashing around in your own bodies. The lies you've swallowed are the warp of the great net, and your justifiable anger is the woof. The Syrians have made an alliance with us Pleiadians so that the men and women of Earth will now be able to reconnect with each other after being disconnected for so long by Anunnaki brainwashing. This reunion is coming in the near future, and the joining will be passionate, not controlled and manipulated. This is the next step for you, and I'd suggest you just go for it because it will make it easier. No one has ever been able to resist the goddess, especially visitors from the skies, and the Syrians learned this well when Christ fell in love with Mary Magdalene. By the way, there exists in your field a book called You Are Becoming a Galactic Human, which promulgates the idea that Syrians will show up and rescue Earthlings with their spaceships. Forget it, people. Quit watching your skies and jump in the sack. You are caught in confusion right now because you have been attempting to remember your story by means of the tools of linear space and time, the third dimension. We Pleiadians call this book the Pleiadian Agenda because we know you are ready for the whole story now. Our agenda at this time is to teach you how to be passionately immersed in your bodies while you learn to view your 3D reality simultaneously in 9 dimensions. Just relax. We sent Bach, another great Pleiadian artist, down to prepare you for this perceptual opening. If you think your brain can't handle such a complex form, go listen to Bach fugues for 24 hours with headphones on, and then read this book. You are trapped in a tightly woven net that has you more trapped than you realize. This net was brilliantly constructed by the Anunnaki, who exist in the next dimension above yourselves, the 4th dimension, 4D. These great beings wove this net so that you would be held in density with them through the age of Pisces. Why? The love force of Christos was so intense on earth that you had to be held in density so you could integrate this elixir over 2,000 years. Out of desire for freeing themselves from being your parents, the Anunnaki stimulated you with Piscean archetypes. Compassion turned into pity, love turned into dependency, spirituality turned into religion. So you would finally choose to move beyond pity, dependency, and religion. You would grow up and become compassionate, loving, and spiritual. But they've become so bored by the limitations in you set by the net that even they can see now that your boredom could eventually blow up this prison. Without multi-dimensional access while you are here in 3D, you will die and destroy your own world. These great 4D beings, the Anunnaki, who were closely documented in Sumerian records, realize they are losing their access to you as a result of assuming to be superior. They have noticed the children are all on the street and not at home. Earth needs to be fascinating and creative, or children will not play the game. The kids aren't going to work, to school, or to war anymore, and they are on the verge of not having sex anymore. They are ready to play with the Aquarian archetypes, truth, multidimensionality, freedom, and creativity. This net woven during the last 2,000 years has forced you to mature your emotional bodies so you could figure out how to release these 4D entities from their karma. As you will see, the 4D entities have been involved in your dimension long enough to learn their lessons. Now they want to be invited to the party, but those with long records of interference, what I call galactic rudeness, will not be invited unless they learn some Earth manners. 4th dimensional beings, mostly the Anunnaki, have pricked and prodded you into acting out their feelings. Higher dimensional entities have also played with your energies by stimulating your intelligence and spiritual exploration. You are even tired of this because you want these energetic experiences for yourself. Now all beings must own their own feelings and expressions. This will be a party with no masks or props. The cosmic party is to be held on Earth. During this party, other dimensional beings can only own their own expressions by penetrating your realm and moving into your energy in 3D, but only when you agree and are totally conscious. How do you prepare for the party? You might think all you have to do is get dressed and put on your makeup. In fact, you have to open your chakra systems and clear your emotional bodies. People, if you knew what really goes on when you pray in a sacred place with your sense of self activated to the 4 directions of your planet, you would pray this way all the time. The entities needing to experience you are passionate, exquisite, and honorable. We Pleiadians want you to be sitting in sacred circles with your spine straight or having orgasmic sex all the time. The Syrians want you to develop your minds so you can see sacred geometric light forms that hold your reality in form through time. We will teach you how to live every moment of your life in sacred space, tuned to the 4 directions with your spine straight. We Pleiadians are here to coax new teachings out of the higher dimensional beings who will be attending the party. As we've said, boredom is not allowed. What is worse than being stuck at a party with a bore? Meanwhile, your reality now is no party. As I observe Owanda, quote, O Jupiter, end quote, Simpson, and the Middle East, you are up against it, and only you can choose to process and release instead of murder each other. These Anunnaki, angels, and demons are now ready to speak through me, Satya, to straighten out their stories, so you can figure out how to release them from their karma. Once you can see these truths, then you will know how to assume total responsibility for your actions, being in integrity in 3D. You will find ways for archetypical desires to express themselves appropriately, such as theater or channeling. The days of the, quote, insanity plea, end quote, are over because the only relevant question is, quote, did this body in 3D commit this action, end quote. Many tools are coming to you now. For example, a man who wants to stalk the goddess and murder her could explore that desire and discharge it by means of virtual reality. But that will only work if the program is set up to help the potential murderer clear his anger. Those of you who are very fearful can release and process a lot of fear by watching horror movies. A man who feels the urge to kill will be able to shoot planes out of the sky on his computer game. Whether these tools are good or bad depends upon how you use them. Who are the entities who have influenced your reality, and what have they actually been doing during these 26,000 years? We are excited to see you burning with curiosity while there is still time to figure out how to be in charge of your own bodies. We love it when you wonder who Lucifer really is. We love it when you wonder whether Christ and Mary Magdalene had sex and created a child. We are happy when you wonder how Enoch ascended to the stars, because it shows you like to ascend yourselves, or have sex with a highly energized being and confront your own judgments. However, it seems easier for you to desire ascension with Enoch and tantric sex than to contemplate your own judgments about Lucifer and sin. This will be a piece of cake. Once we've talked about Lucifer, you will find out he is simply inside you. If you are a fundamentalist and this idea makes you feel like shredding this book, I ask you, do you really want to pay for Jim Bakker again? If you are a Roman Catholic, we must warn you that this book could make it impossible for you to ever go into the confessional again. Sorry, confession is a bore, and it is lethal. Women got abused in the box until 1972, and since then young boys have been at high risk. Lucifer is very creative. To remember your own story, you must look at all of it. We promise you, your curiosity will be more sated by Lucifer or Christ or Mary Magdalene than it will be by soap operas, the evening news, or trials on TV. Our stories even beat the British monarchy's juicy dramas, although these stories are good sources for seeing how the goddess gets Anunnaki-controlled men in the sack. As we Pleiadians see it, your next step is to cease attempting to decode non-physical realms with the tools of linear space and time. That is the purpose of this book. You have been attempting to figure out the influences of 9 dimensions in your reality by means of only one dimension, the third. To this is like attempting to envision a magnificent oak tree by taking a coarse slice from its trunk and looking at its rings under a microscope. Who could envision an oak tree with great branches and leaves and powerful root system, its power in one place drawing rain and sun, soil, nutrients, and insects and animals to itself, its morphogenetic field holding in form, its sacred geometry making it solid, its cosmic biology, and so on, by merely examining a slice from its trunk? It is simple once you see it. All your dilemmas are perceptual. You're held in 3D by the net, which limits your perceptions. One moldy old example of the limitations that have narcoticized you is the argument between Berkeley and Hume. If a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound if no one is there to hear it? Of course it does. The constant going back and forth causes you to not see how 3D operates. Once the knowledge available in 3D is lost, you can't see that the tree does not fall in 4D unless somebody was there and heard it. Events in 4D are recorded when you feel them, and 3D just happens. I know this sounds silly and obtuse, but I wanted to present this one because many of you had to listen to, quote, "Is the chair solid or not?" end quote, in Philosophy 101. It's one easy example, and wait until you find out who triggered Sodom and Gomorrah, and wait until virtual reality creates a second nuclear holocaust. Unless you can drop Anunnaki Philosophy 101, you won't be able to figure out whether the tree fell or not. Worse than that, as Earth changes accelerate, you could become Chicken Little. You must master a multi-dimensional model in order to view your times, or you will always be stuck in the net. You will not know what is real, and that is exactly what holds the net around your planet. Tricky stuff. The Pleiadians know that you are all ready to become seers now. Our Pleiadian colleague, Barbara Marciniak, informed you of that in a channeling in June 1993, when the Pleiadians said that some of you will become, quote, wizards of the heart, end quote. I, Satya, like that concept because it helped me see what I must use for explaining my own agenda for the Age of Light, which begins December 21st, 2012. Your planet is ready for models that can move you beyond male alchemy into the alchemy of the goddess, so that your true male brilliance can be activated. What could be more dead and boring than a pack of moldy old male alchemists? People, we warn you, right now your most dangerous tendency is secrecy. Let it all out now. Flash, expose yourselves. If you don't, your planet will go out of form. Your solar system will blast out of the Alcyone spiral, and you will be separated from the Maya, who are your twin. We have said to you many times that you are lazy, that you need to be cajoled, seduced, and prodded to get you going. The point of this book is to offer the tools for becoming seers, human intelligences hanging out in the Garden of Eden, seeing 9 dimensions simultaneously. You can choose to lie in the sun, play with snakes, decode the real meaning in words, have sex, eat apples, and stargaze. To accomplish this, you must master the basic astrological models so you will comprehend your own time and place in the galaxy. Again, is it not awesome that the Maya set up a calendar thousands of years ago that ends when the winter solstice sun conjuncts the sacred tree crossing? Then you must learn to perceive multidimensionally. That is, you must become alchemists by becoming the elixir ready to transmute to gold. Why would the Pleiadians want to encourage you in this endeavor? We are non-physical, 5D intelligences, and we require your 3D realm to be seers ourselves. What I am telling you is that you have no idea how important you are. You humans, literally, are the bodies for all dimensions as Earth begins the Age of Aquarius. Why your system? Your solar system was chosen by the Creator to be the place for the development of biological life in the whole galaxy. In order to perfect biological intelligence, the Creator needed to work in a small laboratory, just as your scientists first work in a laboratory to understand the laws of creation that rule a particular experiment. They also work in the laboratory to decide whether they want to carry out an experiment in the planetary field. Anything can be created, but do you want it? Is there a corresponding cure for it once it is unleashed so that it will not have to be eradicated by killing it, just as the Anunnaki eradicated the results of their genetic manipulations with the flood? Now the gods are playing with AIDS and Ebola virus, and your priests and rabbis are doctors. As we Pleiadians and the Syrians see it, the Anunnaki do not want to annihilate you again, but you are infected with their killing tendencies after so many years of acting out, quote, his-story, end quote. You must ask yourself, why you seem to prefer killing to just living until death? Do you kill each other simply because you fear death, fear disease? Death is simply the balance for life, and every disease has a corresponding cure right in the plants. These cures are instantly discovered once you have learned what that disease is teaching you. AIDS is your gift to teach you to honor and appreciate death. Then you will find ways to die that you like. By the end of this cycle, death will become like birth, ecstatic, and Dr. God will not be there until either is going on. The Creator first experimented with biological creativity on Earth, which is the physical location with the potential to simultaneously hold 9 dimensions in its intelligence. Gaia is the intelligence of Earth, and she is a much more powerful being than you imagine. Notice where the party is being held. You are about to find out the purpose of Gaia's magnificent and unlimited creative powers, since she has been chosen as head scientist of the biological laboratory of the Milky Way galaxy. As I said, anything can be created in a laboratory, but Gaia decides whether any creation belongs in her field. If she does not choose it, she will cleanse it from her surface. That's why she blew up the Atlantean laboratory. As you are entering the Photon Band again, Earth will become multidimensional, and her biosphere will be the source for determining which lifeforms will be disseminated throughout the galaxy. The qualities of this dissemination will be based on what remains in the biosphere once you have become enlightened. This will be a time when it will not be possible to be partially alive in your bodies. Those who do not remain will go out of body because they have not quickened to the light. The quote, night of the living dead, end quote, is over, and you can't keep on walking around half alive. Since your genes are the structure of life itself, only enlightened geneticists will be able to work with DNA. This going out of form will simply be ecstatic immersion in Gaia, a great cosmic orgasm in your realm. We are here as teachers of desire to help you decide what you want to create to become multidimensional. You will cease holding your energy in limiting forms. It was necessary for many experiments to be conducted on Earth, by yourselves as well as intelligences of many dimensions, in order to comprehend the galactic laws of biology. Some of you will read these words and say that we dare to discuss the limitations of the Creator. I will answer you for now by asking you a question. Since you judge each other and believe that evil exists in your realm, are you not also contemplating limitations in the Creator? Since 8800 BC, as you traveled in the galactic night, you have been allowed to search for ways to have no limitations on yourselves. Your only charge during this cycle was to go as far as you wanted in order to see that freedom has boundaries, just as all things in 3D have boundaries. The Pleiadians hope that you have gone far enough to realize you are ready to learn how to create harmonically in your own reality. If you are not, there will not be anything. Can you imagine cosmic silence and no movement? We cannot either. And so your killing tendencies cannot be released into the galaxy to cause annihilation. We Pleiadians hope that you will want to continue once you realize the karma triggered in yourselves by higher dimensional intelligences who impulsed you constantly during the galactic night must now be owned by each one of you. To reclaim your own domain, you will need to look at every action you have taken, as well as every time you became a victim and allowed yourself to be jerked around. You have to love and honor everything you have ever been or now are. All actions in 3D belong to you, no matter who or what impulsed you to act. Not seeing and integrating your history holds the net in place, and then you are caught in it. This is why I, Satya, must shake you up by exposing your deep shadows. We Pleiadians know you have already agreed because we can see that many of you would rather merge with energies than experience earth changes. Past life regression therapy really works for you because uncovering and comparing your past lives by means of your past lives enables you to see how these lies still operate in your now. You must notice that in 3D you have 2 eyes, not 2 hearts, and in 4D you have 1 eye and 2 hearts. In your dualized feeling bodies, you are the one that splits the laser beams creating the mesmerizing holograms, and so nobody is looking at life to see what is really going on in 3D. Does this blinding fascination with 4D images matter much? Well, few people are breathing with the plants in the garden, shape-shifting with the animals, and vibrating with the powers of Gaia in the rocks. That is being, a function of the heart. The question goes back, correctly this time, to Berkeley and Hume. Will the plants, animals, and rocks cease to exist if no one is attuned with them? People, you'd better realize what happens to things in your reality when no one loves them. Just why are the species leaving? And what about how you treat others of your own species? To attain alignment with cosmic law, divine order of life, you must see your own leering face in the carnage of Rwanda or Bosnia. You must feel how, quote, others, end quote, are making these awesome sacrifices so you can contemplate your own bloodlust. If you cannot recognize yourself in the sacrificial dramas of your times, they will recur eternally, and you will eventually have to act out every one of them yourself, both as victim and victimizer. The Maya figured out the last time they were on Earth. They built ball courts as eternal shrines to sacrifice to divert you from totally destroying their codices. The conquistadors were so enamored of these mirrors that they missed a few copies of the real thing. We Pleiadians have become you during the last 26,000 years, and I have come to let you know that we finally see where you're stuck. Naturally, it's sourced in something we did. We tried to rescue you when we went into the Photon Band around 11,000 BC. We know that you firmly believe the gods will always decide about your world, and so you wait instead of act. You believe they will save you if you just keep waiting for the apocalypse. Yes, the Photon Band was the apocalypse then, but what happens next is the future, not the past. When you are deep in the Photon Band, laser beams will no longer split into two parts in solar light and create dense realities for exploring feelings. Laser beams will not exist that make mesmerizing holographic images that you can worship. Instead, their multifaceted lenses will open to my dimension, the fifth, and those of you in 3D will look out to the cosmos through those lenses. Everything you see will be like looking through a kaleidoscope. All your beliefs and judgments will go out of form, but you will not if you release these things that you think are reality. Wake up and gaze around again at your world. See the Garden of Eden that you live in. The Pleiadians have been with you for 26,000 years, and now we are ready to mirror back to you the images you hold of us in your reality. If you will look into your own mirror, we will look in ours. Notice that Earthlings and Pleiadians work with mirrors, while the 4D gods work with laser beams. The Pleiadians have chosen to become multidimensional with you because biology must merge with love. Once this is accomplished, you can travel with us out of the garden into cosmic realities. Laser beams are going to be restricted to their highest usage, surgery on the physical body for healing. Mirrors reflect light and laser beams focus it. We Pleiadians have learned during this cycle that only you can decide your world. We have become you, and we know that each one of you knows the truth about yourselves at this time. Actually, we were amazed about how far you've come. We will not be telling you anything about yourselves you don't actually already know. Many of you are still thinking you are supposed to hide your total truth from others. The Victorian mentality is deadly, for there will be no place to hide once the solar light diminishes. You can all cleanse your emotions and learn to stop the killing so much more easily if you will only share with each other. Privacy is eradicated as your inner chaos fills the television screen day after day. All of you have raped, murdered, and abused. If you want to, you will be able to sit in a virtual reality machine all day so you can murder, rape, and abuse until you are bored with it. You can choose to sit in a gambling parlor on a plastic stool all day instead of walking in the woods with the animals, listening to the birds. Until the opening of the party, you may choose forms of control over the chaos and nobody will judge you. Even use Prozac if you want to find out how it feels to have serotonin in your body, and then drop the pills and do it yourselves. Nothing is dangerous to you in 3D if you know what you are doing and if you realize all things are only props. The beings from many dimensions have gifted you with powerful tools if you need and want them now, and there are more coming. The next wave will be healing tools, and the doctors who do not use them will die of the diseases they have dared to unleash on you. To correctly utilize the tools you have now, you must agree not to kill yourselves, your parents, your mates, your children, or your friends and colleagues in 3D in the name of personal freedom. All the people who have come for the party have the right to stay as long as they wish. The Pleiadians are the keepers of the children of Earth. The children have spoken to us, and they want their mothers and fathers at home in the sack, and they want to be out playing in the new image fields of youth. Keep explorations of images and chimeras out of 3D, and feel free to explore your emotions by exploring the 4D archetypical realm. Go for it. Have a good time, as the goddess always fulfills all desire. I know you will stop killing when you trust us, which means you trust yourselves. Remember that you can have what you want. Virtual reality and physical integrity are clear examples of how dimensions function by means of tools. And just think, you will work with 9 dimensions simultaneously when your solar system travels through the Photon Band. During the last 26,000 years, you have been impulsed by marvelous teachers from 9 dimensions. These beings have always been your gods and goddesses, mythological archetypes, and lately, your heroes and movie stars. They have graced the pages of your literature, the altars in your temple, and the screens of your televisions and movie theaters. Really, people from our perspective on the Pleiades, Elvis uncannily resembles Yahweh. The great 4D archetypical powers have had a great time pulling your strings while you've been puppets dancing on the stage of life. Now you are ready to peek at the puppet masters. If you react to this idea with resentment, would you rather remain in closets collecting dust and mites? You have enjoyed your dances, and these masters have evolved with you in your world. It is an exquisite drama. While one of you is having sex in 3D, 4D beings can feel your energy and trigger you into lust, guilt, abuse, or fun. 5D entities can get excited by your Kundalini fire and have cosmic orgasms. 6D entities can expand the fields of your pulsations throughout the galaxy. 7D entities can carry your feelings via galactic information highways. 8D entities can organize new morphogenetic fields out of your sexual seismic waves. And 9D entities can birth new biological forms in the darkness of galactic center black holes. Is that not awesome? The Pleiadians are more involved with your evolution now because they have lived with you during the last 2 journeys through the galactic night. This long Pleiadian sojourn on Earth has made you suspicious of them, and I want to talk with you about this. You've been jerked around and manipulated by multidimensional entities during the galactic night because that's how the galactic system works, until the cosmic party. The only other possibility would be stasis and cosmic silence. Imagine never hearing a sound from, having a touch by, or even seeing another human, animal, thing, or plant. Would you choose that? Would you choose to never look in the eyes of your child again? When you have felt jerked around, it has been because you were caught in the mechanics of 3D and you could not see what was really going on. The Pleiadians know this. I remind you now that all your experiences have come from your own choices to play with beings who first impulsed you. This is what creates existence. Would you give up sex eternally? What would you be if you never encountered an archangel or a devil? I have freely experienced my vehicle, Barbara Hand Clow, laughing. She says the only, quote, sin, end quote, she has ever found on earth is boredom. Sin means without or not with. And where she finds you to be the most, quote, not with it, end quote, is when you are bored. I chose her as a channel for the Pleiadian Agenda at this time because I want to deliver some very complex Pleiadian records, the mechanics of time and orbits. How to do that without ever becoming boring? Luckily, you have all advanced a great deal, and you're getting more comfortable with Pleiadian 5D tools for seeing, astrology, and dimensionality. You are tired of alchemy and astrology being ridiculed by the world management team. Some of you know that these control forces secretly use these tools even more than you do. Since the Pleiadians chose to live with you in your realm during the last 26,000 years, there are things that must now be seen and cleared. They would like you to know now that they once made a big mistake with you. That error has caused you to blame them for other traumas and abuses in your realm that they did not actually cause. The Pleiadians know that their agenda cannot be accomplished without owning up to their own mistakes, just as yours cannot. They interfered with your free will when you were traveling through the Photon Band during the Age of Leo, beginning 13,000 years ago. When your solar system travels in the Photon Band during Leo, great earth changes are triggered because ego identity and belief in regal rights must be established during that age. The Age of Leo was the, quote, age of kingship, end quote, and beings from many stars and galaxies came to Earth. Gaia always becomes very expressive while this drama is being worked out. You are allowed to go only so far on her surface. During the last cycle, this process caused your poles to shift, triggering the last ice age. When the shock hit, the Pleiadians did not comprehend that you were in a balancing process, since they do not experience such processes. We could feel your pain and death because we were with you, and we slipped out of compassion and fell into pity. We were so deeply involved with you that we tried to rescue you by leading groups of you to safer areas and lifting some of you off planet during the most intense shiftings. In your confusion, you thought we must be gods, and you identified yourself as victims for the first time. You shifted out of the now just when you were ready to claim your own experience and feel the ecstasy of Gaia flipping her poles. You asked to be rescued, and we felt your pain so vividly that we became your gods and rescued you. Just when you were ready to transcend fear, we stopped your process. We will never do this again. The intervention in your reality caused you to think the gods are above your world, and a dimensional shattering happened in your world. This was called, quote, the fall, end quote. You walked out of the Garden of Eden, and you split your world by viewing it through your eyes and brain instead of feeling it in your heart. The greenness of your world became separate from you, and time began. That is why you have a relatively clear sense of time since you moved out of the Age of Leo in 8640 BC. The book, You Are Becoming a Galactic Human, suggests that the Syrians will rescue you when you are in the Photon Band during the coming Age of Aquarius. They can do that, just as the Pleiadians once did, but the Pleiadians discovered that interference in your realm aborts ascension. As for the Syrians, if they block your process in any way, they will be living the next 13,000 years with you on Earth. The Pleiadians have learned that nobody lifts beings out of 3D. 3D simply sucks in those who intervene so they can work out karma. As for you humans, if such a choice is offered to you and you decide to play with the Syrians, then you will learn a lot from them during the Galactic Night from 4000 AD to 15,000 AD. As the Age of Leo began in 10,800 BC, once the shattering had occurred, then you were in your world limited to linear sight, and you thought all multidimensional beings were the Anunnaki. This was natural, since Anu always told you he was your god. You knew better, and you acted like you worshipped him and laughed at him in secret, just like you do with your priests and ministers now. You created pompous ways to worship the gods and puff them up, so you could go about your life. You always knew that Anu was not your god, and we were first attracted to you when we noticed that you understood your own sovereignty. However, in your dimensional shattering during the Age of Leo, you did something that you are now ready to look at. You gave God a name that is actually the name for elimination portals. This punish entitlement was your attempt to make a joke out of a being who was oppressing you, but the Creator does not have a name. Once you did that, then everything had to have a name. Language began as an identification process instead of using sound as a resonation tool between yourselves for perceptual fusion. This split you into many tongues, and then Anu could trick you into splitting among yourselves. This has caused God to lurk all over your planet. Lately, quote, God, end quote, has moved out of the church and is operating out of the hospital. This new form of rescue called, quote, fix me, is becoming less enjoyable every day as you insidiously name your body processes instead of just living and breathing until you are ready to let go. Remember, people, death is only your last breath. You have forgotten to trust the magnificent genius of Gaia, your world in the center of our library. It is time for you to ferret out the naming, identification from the age of Leo, because in the age of Aquarius, all identity will be biological vibration. Open your eyes and learn to recognize the Anunnaki at play when they say Christ was riding on an ass into Jerusalem. This book is about the exquisite powers of lower dimensional density, because the Anunnaki got you to buy into the idea that higher is better than lower. This diverted your experience from you, and you can't see the garden you reside in. You've become hierarchical, and you're trying to climb out of your own world as if it is a snake pit. It is a snake pit. That's the joke. There is no hierarchy of dimensions, and each one is powerful in its own way for its own inhabitants. For you, the most potent dimension is Gaia. For us, it is electromagnetic fields of orbits and cycles held together by gravity and stellar light. Maya, the third star in the Alcyone spiral, travels in a tighter part of the Pleiadian spiral closer to Alcyone than your own solar system. Maya is in the Photon Band more often than in the Galactic night. Like your solar system, Maya is in the Photon Band for about 2,000 years of Earth time. Then Maya travels in the Galactic night for only about 1,200 years before going back into the Photon Band. The Maya do not influence Earth much when they are traveling in the Galactic night, as they were recently from about 800 to 1987 AD. Their mysterious, quote, disappearance, end quote, in 843 AD occurred when they went out into the darkness. Before leaving, they made sure their calendar was securely implanted in the third dimension by carving it in the stone all over Maya land. Now, as the Age of Aquarius is beginning, Maya is entering into the Photon Band with the Sun. This is always an exciting phase of the Great Cycle because this is when the Maya are able to demonstrate by means of their great calendar that the future creates the present. The end of the calendar is triggering new stages of evolution for you because you are gearing up to learn how to set an intention of what you want to create and be for the next 26,000 years on Earth. You are being subtly orchestrated by the Galactic Maya, and some of you are just beginning to notice what they have set up. The Maya orchestrate timing in various worlds in the Alcyone spiral, and Alcyone holds the records of time. The Maya are keepers of time. Your sun is a keeper of frequency, and Alcyone is a keeper of intention. You all can participate in setting the intention for the next stage of evolution with the Pleiadians by attuning to Maya timing, raising the vibration in your sun, and mastering the mechanics of dimensionality. Then the cosmic party will have the best entertainment roster. The rest of the chapter is a description of the structure of the Milky Way galaxy, the Photon Band, and the Pleiadian model of 9 dimensions that are the structure of your perceptual world. These 9 dimensions fit into a 10th dimension that holds the 9th dimension and is indescribable. This part of the book is placed here in the beginning now that I have described the Pleiadian Agenda, because you may find yourselves referring back to it when you actually travel in the galaxy and 9 dimensions in the rest of the book. The story of the Photon Band and the Galactic Night and the alchemy of 9 dimensions. The Milky Way galaxy is a 10-dimensional system of cosmic intelligence that expresses itself in 9 dimensions. The first dimension is sourced in a beginning form that manifests as an intelligence system, such as the central core crystal of Earth, which sets up light lines of communication from the core crystal through 9 dimensions to the center of the Milky Way galaxy. Like any system, the galaxy evolves in time and creates in space. The method of each creation is generated in its own first dimension, and intention of that creation is sourced in the future, the galactic mind. We are interested in accessing knowledge about the orbit of Earth around the Sun, the orbital pattern of the Sun in the Pleiades, and the path of the Pleiades in the Milky Way galaxy. As we begin, everything must be looked at from the perspective of Gaia, the first three dimensions of Earth expression. Always begin in your own location, such as the center of the Earth. If you doubt this, notice the massive confusion gripping astronomers. Earth moves around the Sun with the other planets and moons, which are all spinning. The Sun is spinning as the eighth star of the Pleiadian spiral, and the Pleiades are spinning within the galaxy as the galaxy spins on its axis. No 3D science can describe these cycles, all of which exist only if you first start in one point or with one observer's point of view. Realities are layer cakes, and only multidimensional models will describe anything real. Once you dared leave your surface in spaceships, you saw that you are only a point in the universe, and now you are beginning to realize that the only view you have is perceptual. We will explore all this with you. For now, it is enough for you to know that you travel in the Photon Band when Earth precesses through the ages of Leo and Aquarius, and you orbit through the galactic night during all the other zodiacal polarities of the great ages, Cancer and Capricorn, Gemini and Sagittarius, Taurus and Scorpio, Aries and Libra, and Pisces, Virgo. At this time, you are moving into the Photon Band as you are leaving the age of Pisces and moving into the age of Aquarius. See Figure 1. Earth's exploration of herself in time has resulted in orbital patterns and cycles in the galaxy that access 9 perceptual dimensions. The galactic mind is able to hold the thought of 9 dimensions simultaneously in trillions of systems. The time has arrived for you to expand and ground your intelligence by consciously perceiving everything in 9 dimensions in your realm, because that will free your mind. How would this work? From your point of view, the core of Earth is the first dimension, 1D, the source of harmony, bliss, and being grounded. The world above this, just beneath Earth's surface, is the second dimension, 2D, source of telluric powers and elemental beings. Existence on Earth in linear space and time is the third dimension, 3D. The fourth dimension, 4D, is a non-physical, archetypal zone where feelings, dreams, and all connections to Gaia and higher dimensions are available. Planets manifest these 4D archetypal patterns that express their own distinct versions of the Sun's energy and stimulate behavioral patterns on Earth. The Pleiades are the fifth dimension, 5D, of orbital patterns and cycles of your solar system and the Pleiadian spiral. The Sirius star system is the sixth dimension, 6D, of your world, and it creates geometrical light constructions out of the physical forms in 3D that are shaped by 4D archetypal feelings and their creative patterns in 5D. These are the morphogenetic fields behind physical patterns on Earth. The fourth dimension greatly influences realities in your 3D world. Now that we have lived with you in 3D for this 26,000-year cycle, we are anxious to help you figure out how you've been influenced. Knowing about the Photon Band and the galactic night will offer you a model for viewing 4D that will put you in the observer mode about your lives, which are your own centers. It is your choice now, as opposed to continuing to be puppets dangling on strings used for never-ending dramas in time. We are here to help you comprehend how all dimensions influence you so you can reclaim your feelings, which 4D has complexified, determining how and what you perceive. If you do not know the mechanics of perception and how you feel, you can be jerked around eternally. I will admit, I did not know how intense this 4D manipulation was until I experienced it myself by being with you for thousands of years in your reality. As you move out of the galactic night, the Pleiadians are poised to receive your wisdom, gathered since 8800 BC, so they can analyze it and send it to the galactic center. In your solar system, 12 planets orbit the Sun: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, the asteroids, which once were one planet, Jupiter, Saturn, Chiron, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and Nibiru. Many of these planets have their own moons. The main archetypal qualities of Earth are expressed by all of the planets, as well as your moon and sun. The zodiacal system of 12 is simply an arbitrary division of 6 4D polarities, 6 of the night and 6 of the day, which is a good tool for decoding fields of emotional experience in 3D. This lexicon of energy forces shows how 4D ideas trigger events in 3D. See Figure 2. Each polarity is a spectrum from dark to light. Each individual system of 12 is unique and is triggered out of its own unique center, its 1D beginning point. Dimensionality is vertical, and the systems of 12 dimensions are horizontal planes. The horizontal planes of systems that form out of 9-dimensional columns of vertical light create disks that are experiential fields which create realities. The galaxy itself has a horizontal plane that can be divided up into 12 zones of experience, and the experiences that occur generate a vertical axis of 9 dimensions at a right angle. Why 12? Actually, these horizontal fields could be divided up in many ways, but the division of 12 is the one that facilitates harmony on Earth, as has been extensively proven by John Mitchell, co-author of 12 Tribe Nations. The planet Nibiru, home of the Anunnaki, used to be an outer planet of Sirius A, and is now the outermost planet of your solar system. Nibiru links your Sun and the Sirius system. This phenomenon was extensively explored by our vehicle in Heart of the Christos. The Sirius star system has played a primary role in the history of your solar system, as has Nibiru, which was partially captured into orbit by your Sun about 500,000 years ago, shifting the influence of Nibiru somewhat out of the Sirius system and more into your solar system. Besides being the 8th star of the Pleiades, your Sun is also a twin star to Sirius A, and both your solar system and the Sirius system have been assisting Nibiru in its evolution. These astrodynamics are the source of coded legends like Cain and Abel, Horus and Seth, and Quetzalcoatl and Tezcatlipoca. As you will see in this book, great evolution is now planned for Nibiru, Sirius, the Sun, and the Pleiadians. Your solar system, and especially on Earth, is where the records exist for setting new intentions. When you arrived at this point in the galactic orbit 225 million years ago, the reptiles came to your planet. Now you are subtly conscious of reptilian intelligence because they are completing such a huge galactic cycle. Geocentric astrology, viewing the solar system and beyond from a location on Earth, is the most advanced tool you have in 3D for decoding the time and quality of your unfoldment. As we have said, the 4th dimension is where your emotional body resides. It is profoundly ruled by the archetypal planetary forces of your own solar system. The qualities and relationships of these planetary bodies actually do express your personal unfoldment. Literally, do the cycles of Mars generate your feelings of power and anger? Without geocentric astrology, it is very difficult for most of you to master your emotional bodies, to be objective and observational about your day-to-day activities. 5th dimensional astrological science offers you freedom from being stuck in linear time, since it analyzes and describes the qualities of time. You can examine the planetary cycles, delineate their qualities, and prepare yourself for various periods in your life. Astrology enables you to look at how the drama of life is artificially pressed into past, present, and future. This enables you to gain perspective on emotions as you feel them, to watch the feeling realm to detect agendas, dramas, potentialities, and spirits impulsing you. Once you master this level of self-observation or self-reflection, then you realize that your access to other worlds is available precisely in these feelings. Feelings are awesome because they are your non-physical vibratory field that is resonating in 4D through 9D. Once you attain that perspective, you cannot be impulsed or jerked around by any vibration. Many fascinating patterns rise out of your emotional and spiritual richness and give you access to scintillating pools of dark creativity and dances of light dynamics. How does this pattern work in the galaxy? Fifth-dimensional light is stellar, which is more subtle than solar light, the light from the sun that you receive on Earth. Photon bands are 7D donuts of light that emanate from the vertical axis of the galactic center. They spin around and around through the galactic center into the darkness of the galactic night. See Figure 3. Galactic centers of 9D are pure darkness, and yet, as they spin on their axes, the astounding power of their vortexes shoot out 9D galactic synchronization beams. These synchronization beams spin out of the black hole galactic centers, torqued by the galactic axial spin. These beams, belts, axes, and horizontal planes with black holes in their centers are 8D organizational systems of intelligence. In the Milky Way galaxy, this 8D brilliance is called the Galactic Federation. It holds the galaxy in form by means of information highway photon bands. All stars existing in photon bands generate spirals that capture other stars, and these, quote, photon stars, end quote, such as Alcyone, are Galactic Federation libraries. This overall Galactic Federation structure is sourced in the deep and incomprehensible nothingness of black holes that birth galaxies from nuclear energy. This energy is pure creativity. The empty divine mind then launches its cosmic light, which links galaxies to galaxies and gives birth to more dimensions in the universe. The universe itself is the 10th dimension, the cosmic, quote, all, end quote, that contains everything that we perceive from Earth, and it cannot be named, described, or comprehended. Your sun is linked to the Pleiades by means of a spiral of stellar light radiating out from Alcyone. Think of it this way. Your sun bathes the surface of Earth in 3D light, while Earth also knows 4D light from the subtle reflection of solar light off the moon and planets. Starlight is 5D light that moves out through the stars of the Pleiades, out from Alcyone, through Merope, Maya, Electra, Taygeta, Coel, and Atlas to your sun. Thus, in your legends, Atlas holds Earth on his shoulders in space. Each Pleiadian star, except Alcyone, which is located in the photon band eternally, travels through the 7D band for 2,000 years of Earth time. Then each star in the system travels in the galactic night for varying lengths of Earth time. The orbits that hold various bodies in the galactic night are 6D, and the 6D intelligence that carries your solar system through the galactic night is Sirius A. The stars close to Alcyone, such as Merope and Maya, are in the photon bands for more time than they are in the galactic night. See Figure 4. Your solar system spends the most time out in the galactic night, 11,000 years in the dark and 2,000 years in the light. What does this mean? Various members of the solar system become very dense while in the galactic night, and this generates experience called karma, feelings in 4D seeking expression that create actions in 3D. Bodies traveling in 7D photon bands become less dense, more multidimensional. As a result, their acquisition of light cleanses emotional bodies and intensifies vibrations in physical bodies. When you're in this state of awareness, you do have feelings, but such feelings are merely impulses that guide you to stay in your center. These are not feelings that impulse you into karma. The galactic night intelligence in the darkness outside the Pleiadian spiral holds form for the horizontal disk of each Pleiadian star. These disks are composed of 12 divisions that cause density, which then creates history and stories within great cycles of time. Otherwise, there would be only birth, a life, death, and no cyclical memory, as with animals. There must be a weaving of creative memory. We must remind you that animals are superior to you. Their creative memory is stellar, for Spider Grandmother created them first. The Milky Way is a river of animals. These weavings attract stars that make worlds by means of sacred geometry, morphic light fields that generate still more 9D vertical axes. It goes on, and if you can imagine it, Maya also has a disk of 12 divisions. The 7D donuts of photonic light from the galactic center are information highways that stimulate curiosity, the desire for union, for twinning, for new expressions of both sides of a duality derive from this passion. The arousal comprises the 7D photon bands seeking the galactic center. This curiosity is what causes the rods of 7D photonic light to curl back on themselves, forming them into donuts. The galaxy would disintegrate into empty space without the nuclear gravity in the center, which then shoots out pulses of light. Maya and your solar system are now moving into the photon band together. This arrival is uniting the Pleiadians and Syrians so they can find a way to solve Earth's dilemma with Nibiru. The Anunnaki have gone too far, triggering karma on Earth. Both the Syrians and the Pleiadians have now figured out how Nibiru manipulates the inhabitants of Earth in 3D. As the Pleiadians have said, they figured this out by being with the inhabitants of Earth, and the Syrians figured it out by being with the inhabitants of Sirius B. The new biology must integrate all this knowledge. From spring equinox 1987 to winter solstice 2012, biological life will be harmonized with divine intelligence, so that the feeling body of Earth can carry the intensity of the coming galactic orgasm. The Milky Way orgasm must be strong enough to carry life throughout the whole galaxy. If you doubt this, notice how Earthlings are all giving birth too frequently, seeking to encompass this intensity in their bodies. Earth is Alcyon's laboratory, Alcyon is Earth's library, and Maya is running the schedule so that nobody is late. If this all seems too much, remember playing with your Tinker Toys as a child, and remember how they taught you that everything is organized in central spools that are connected by little wooden rods. Realize that everything we are telling you already exists within your cellular memory. Each electron is light within molecules within the cells in your body. You actually are more light than solid. The distance from one molecule to another in your body is as great as the distance from one galaxy to another. You have worlds and universes within your body. Alcyon quickened Earth with Pleiadian love vibrations at 0 point through the Syrian expansion triggered by the incarnation of Christ, a human carrying the intelligence of 9 dimensions simultaneously. Christ implanted the Pleiadian love vibration, and that vibration quickened Earth until 1987, when, at harmonic convergence, these 9D seeds were released all over Earth. These seeds became flowers in each body that would release this essence into Gaia. Gaia will release each human who becomes the sacred tree into the Milky Way galaxy, like a child blowing on seeding dandelions. Dandelions, which are solar flowers, cannot seed until each flower has used up its carbon energy. Then they restructure as silica filaments, which can fly away and carry seeds on the wind. These seeds take root and transmute more carbon matter to silica. You can imagine this because you all have picked up dandelions when they look like starbursts, and you have blown them and watched their delicate silica filaments carry seeds on the wind. Well, people, we'd like you to know about how you can complete your carbon-based bodies and evolve them to light-encoded filaments. Imagine billions of light-encoded filaments swirling around your throat that become vertical rods of light as you speak your truth. Your whole body lifts as an umbrella of filaments carries you into the galaxy to seed it. You can only do this by identifying and speaking your truth, which you can find in all the wonderful encounters you've had during the galactic night with multidimensional beings who are exploring themselves in 3D through you. We will teach you to identify the vibration of each dimension that has been playing with you since 8800 BC. These are the contents of Pandora's box. Will you lift the lid of Pandora's box so the Pleiadians can see what's inside? Only you can decide to see what the Syrians or Anunnaki have been creating with you. What would it mean for you to access your juiciest story? Well, a Syrian could take you on a trip under the paw of the Sphinx. An Enochian could take you on an ascension journey into the Galactic center, such as in the Book of Enoch. Does this excite you? We hope so, because when you open the portals to the Syrians or the Enochians, the portals open for us to be able to see what they are creating with you. We want to access what they've been experiencing with you out there in the galactic night, since we've just been basking in the light and have no idea. This is the time when we stock our library on Alcyone. Why? We always set a new evolutionary intention with you as you enter the Age of Aquarius, and we can't do that without your data, all your stories. Let go now. Do not continue to hold back these magnificent creative powers you possess. What will we give you? The Maya have told us that they have managed to find a way to get you to see that the future creates the present. The Maya tell us after playing around with you for eons that they noticed you were becoming fascinated with time. So, they made up a game for you. They created the Mayan calendar with an end date and revealed it to you. As you begin to understand its importance, you could see that you are progressing toward this end time, as if it is a huge attractor pulling you in deep space. As you've been getting closer to this end time, the Maya can again influence your reality in 3D, since you are both moving into the Photon Band, and they are conducting the orchestra for the, quote, end times Ninth Symphony, end quote, showing you how to play your instruments. They have been composing the music for the cosmic party, and it began with Beethoven's Ode to Joy. You are waking up and realizing that a future intention is creating your now. Tricky and outrageous, isn't it? Well, it is even more fascinating than that. In order to set an intention that could create life able to be disseminated throughout the galaxy at the end of the calendar, everything you put into it must have perfect integrity. For life to be integrity in your now, it must resound with the most powerful forces of Gaia to reach the black hole in the galactic center. Only beings who have enough knowledge in the galactic night can access such integrity by mastering the 9-dimensional alchemy. Conception happens in the darkness of the womb of the goddess. Like sperm seeking the egg, if you can't see in the dark and you are unable to take hold in the tissue, you'll flow out of Gaia in her blood. Only you will know how to conceive in your garden. The Maya and the Pleiadians can tell you a lot about the tools you will need from now until 2012. They will help you open Pandora's box and utilize or transmute all the wild energies hidden in it. In order to handle what flies out of that fantastic box holding the intelligence of the inner earth, we want to teach you about your solar system's entrance into the Photon Band. As we have said, you must view things from where you are located, and we will give you the mechanics and data for constructing models to understand your movement into the band. See your solar system as a disk with the sun in the center and all the planets whirling around it. That disk is divided into 12 zones, the 12 great ages of the zodiac. And as the planets move through these zodiacal zones, you can locate where a planet is in relationship to the sun in these zones with astronomical ephemerides. For example, Venus might be in Leo or Scorpio, Pluto in Sagittarius or Capricorn. Who cares? Well, as this solar disk slowly penetrates the photon band, the point where that disk first begins to move in is the starting point that sets a line slicing into the disk. See Figure 5. The entry point, Spring Equinox 1987, and the speed of this ingress reveal which planets are in the band. Examining the location of these planets moving in and out of the increasing slice in the band will give you a perfect reading for how your planet is integrating the photonic influence band up to 2012. This material is rather complex, but it will become increasingly important. See Appendix B for the more exact data on the solar system in the photon band. Would any of you deny how much your reality has changed since harmonic convergence? You truly are integrating the fourth dimension very quickly, and you are getting stronger impulses in 4D from the fifth dimension and above. You feel Earth's crystal intensely now, and you are well aware that the 2D telluric realm is waking up. A new order is forming, your light is changing, and you will need to be able to identify how the photonic light is transmuting you, especially since March 14, 1994, which was the beginning of galactic precipitation. Do not let yourself be fooled by scientists who say this light alteration is being caused by ozone deterioration due to chemical pollution. Although this is partly true, it diverts your attention from something much bigger that is happening. The ozone hole is opening due to photonic transmutation, so that solar rays can awaken the 2D telluric realm via the north and south poles. A truly amazing pattern is building up, and you can adjust to it if you attune to the resonant vibration of the 1D iron crystal in the center of your planet. For now, it is enough for you to know that Earth first entered the photon band at spring equinox 1987 and has been steadily moving into it further. 1 week more each side of that entry point every year. The border of photonic light is inching across the disk of your solar system. Planets further from the Sun than Earth have been exposed to photonic light when they are orbiting in the section of the disk already in the light. Earth was in the photon band from March 16th to 23rd in 1987, then for 3 weeks in 1988. The photonic slice in the disk increased by 2 weeks each year, and precisely half of your solar system will be immersed when the photon band reaches your Sun at winter solstice 1998. Then Earth's entire orbital path will be engulfed in this tidal wave of light at winter solstice 2012. Eventually, the whole solar system will be totally in the photon band. During the next 2,000 years, it will travel all the way through it. At winter solstice 2012, any biological intelligence of Earth that can resonate to this galactic vibration will be disseminated throughout the whole galaxy. Dimensions that can't hold the galactic tone will not be able to remain in form in the photon band. Each of the 9 dimensions is beginning to tone within the photon band. As you are in your dimension, are you a lone reedy voice or a great booming voice in the magnificent chorale? To blow these seeds throughout the galaxy, a great symphony is required that can vibrate our silica filaments and turn carbon residue to diamonds. Beethoven will be back, hearing his own late quartets that he composed after he was completely deaf in 3D. Van Gogh will even get his ear back. Because your voices need to be so powerful, your vitality and physical integrity must be great. According to John Major Jenkins, the solar conjunction with the crossing of the ecliptic and Milky Way band that will occur at the end of the Mayan calendar happens exactly where the dust cloud in the Milky Way begins, a dark cloud of interstellar dust, the black hole of the galactic center. What is left of Earth's biological intelligence can pass into the galaxy by going through this womb of darkness. In the chapters that follow, you will follow how Tezcatlipoca and Anubis hold the path of your solar system through the galactic night, and you will see why these great dark lords are coming forth to support Earth with their profound knowledge of this process. You will see how knowing darkness is the key to maintaining awareness in the light of the photon band. For now, this is the model of the photon band, the galactic night, and the alchemy of 9 dimensions. Let us begin to explore how these 9 dimensions function in time within the Milky Way galaxy, your stellar home.